Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Elkhart Rotary Club. It is a beautiful day to be a Rotarian. Lovely spring weather we've got out there. I've heard it's returning to winter on Wednesday, but I will take it. We should all take it as much as we can. Everyone safe where you're at. I hope there's no flooding. I'm expecting that this will cause a little of that, but one way or the other, we'll all get through it. I am certain today. I would love to welcome Judge Jim Rickoff up for some thoughtful words, and I have no doubt when I say thoughtful that Jim's words will be such.
Once upon a time, two strangers sat down together on a trailside bench to rest. They began to talk about their life experiences. After a while, the older man told the other the following. When I was a young man, I wanted to change the world. I found that it was very difficult to change the world, so I tried to change my nation. When I found that I couldn't change my nation, I began to focus on my town. When I found that I couldn't change the town, I tried to change my family, all without much success. Now, as an old man, I've come to recognize that the only thing I can change is myself. I've come to realize that if long ago I had changed myself, I might have had a different impact on my family. If I had a different impact on my family and I might have had an impact on our town. We and our fellow town residents might have changed the nation. And I might have had a part of changing the world. After he finished talking, the two men went off in different directions. The older man wistful, the other enlightened. There are many conclusions that we may draw from this parable. The most obvious is that change always starts with us. May we take these ideas to heart and remember them as we go forth and serve to change lives. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Jim. That was great. Absolutely. Change does start right here. That is for sure. Bill Reith greeted you all when you came in. And actually, as Bill was walking up here, I know that everyone in the room, as we're glancing around and got a video here, we'll show everyone within the room. We got a good crowd here today. I think we got about 15 or 18 online. So thanks everybody for joining us however you are able today. So Bill, please introduce our guests.
Thank you, Eric. And before I introduce our guests, in honor of President's Day, one of my favorite quotes from President Reagan, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. So, Howard, you have 2 distinguished guests with us today.
Yes, sir. I have the pleasure of having 2 of my 9 grandchildren with me today. My eldest grandson, well, that's here with me, Josiah, was in and his younger brother, Caleb, who is 3, Caleb. And he said those at the table with us, and I think it brings our average age down in this table to maybe 30 or 32. That's pretty good. When I was recruited up with my Judge Rickoff, and I sat with him in person, I said, wow, I'm the youngest at this table, so this is
Thank you, Howard. Thank you.
Do my own camera work, do my own stunts too. I noticed on the sheet, Bill, I couldn't help but notice that both Jeff Troxel and Andrea Carnell's names were on there, but not as guests today. So that was good. Welcome to your first officially, you're already Rotarians meeting here. So that's excellent. And thanks, Andrea, for wearing your Rotary pin. How many of you have your Rotary lapel pin on today? Oh, a couple others. Good job, John, and very good. So Andrea, have a good, thanks for setting the good example. Jeff will catch on. Those are little findable things. By the way, speaking of findable things, got kind of a special treat today for Sergeanting, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone was able to take a look at that little video that I had sent in my Friday or Saturday morning message. That was actually a really good video. There was no joke associated with it. It was just a nice little summation of how Rotary got started. I think it was literally just a bit over 3 minutes long. It's got some really cool facts there about the beginning and how Rotary, sort of the iterations of its name, changed over time and when we eventually landed on the name Rotary International. So you could bone up on those little factoids. That might just come in handy later. We'll see. Okay, if anyone has any announcements, please come forward. I wanted to make sure that everyone was aware, and Bill, I don't know if Bill Burton is here. On your behalf, may I make the announcement that the donations committee has now activated our grants form. It is live on the website, and if I can, let me see if I can figure out how to get back to the web here. I was going to pull up our website, and then first I'm going to share my screen so those online can see this. But I wanted to point this out so that everybody will know that you can find it on our webpage, and obviously it looks a little different if you're on your PC versus your phone. But I think on the phone, it's pretty far down. You just have to scroll down, but it's right here under the download section. So there's the 2022 Elkhart Rotary Club grant form. Note the due date of April 1st. That is a Friday. We've had good luck with that date in the past, and there's still a month and a week plus to go. So please share that around for the non-for-profits, both here as participants and those that you know. Let them know. We'd love to have some new applicants, but ultimately trying to do good in our community with the money that we all raise here with our fines. So please share that around. There's not a lot different from previous years, though we have asked an additional question about volunteering, asking if the organizations who are asking for money would also have a need for volunteer service. And I imagine that many of them will. This is one of those ways we're trying to just increase that engagement there. So please share that around. And next week's meeting will be Joel Miller, the CEO at Dutchman Essenhaus, followed on March 7th by Brett Bauer. He's the CFO of First Source Bank. March 14th, Michael Desch he's a political science professor from Notre Dame. He's going to talk to us a little about Russia and Ukraine, because apparently there's still something going on there. And this important note, March 21st, we will again be hearing from Jack Boyd Smith, and we are going to go do that at the Aeroplex, the location there off of Aeroplex Drive at the JBS collection. This will be about gasket tape. What we're trying to do is get RSVPs from everyone. So if you go to that listing on the website, you'll actually see a link to RSVP. Please do. That'll help us on a box lunch count, as well as plan for the number of tables and chairs that we need that day. I'll remind every week, but please go on there. And if you just want to email me and have me do it for you, if you're not comfortable online, but if you emailed me, you should be, because it's even easier than that. So don't, and if you text me, it's almost just as easy as texting. So just go online and do that. I'll point out where it is.
What's the date?
It is March 21st, March 21st. So obviously there'll be a chance to see the JBS collection, interact with Jack in that way, but this will be about his business of gasket tape. And thanks, Bill, for setting that up. I think that's pretty awesome. And I don't know much about gasket tape. I think there's a lot of tape involved. We'll see how that goes. Tony, come on up.
Well, first of all, I just got back from Florida, so thank me for the weather. I brought it with me. Oh, okay. I just want to give you an update on the Interact Club. The group is going to Costa Rica. They didn't get to go last year because of COVID. So we have 9 kids going with 2 adults. Mike and Jenny Nolan are hosting the trip. And Mike and Jenny now have a condo in Nassau, Costa Rica. So if any of you know them, you might want to get real friendly with them so that you can go there with them. But anyway, so the kids are going down June 7th through the 15th. And I want to thank everybody, all the advertisers, for continuing to run the same ad, because I got lazy this year and had lots of extra placemats. So thank you for that. And if you haven't paid your bill, please pay it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, both online and in person. I wanted to make an announcement. Thank you for all of you who have signed up as interested or RSVP'd either via email or on this piece of paper that you are coming to any of our upcoming Rotary social events. I will send this around again. If you did not sign and you wanted to sign, can you lift a hand so I know kind of where to start it, because several people have already started. Okay, great. I'll pop it over there. There's also an email version of this for those who are maybe not with us in person that are interested in attending some of our virtual things. You guys can check the email and fill out your name there. And then for those who are interested in joining us in some of these plans, I know Jameson had proposed a kayaking trip up the Elkhart River, and he has offered to spearhead that. So we'll be meeting next week at 11 a.m. in the back here at Matterhorn. For anyone that wants some input into the social events of the club, please feel free to join us. It is a come one, come all. We actually have from acts of service, actually Jordan will be joining us too, because a lot of our social events we want to actually turn into service events and potentially fundraisers for the club and for other organizations. So if you'd like to be a part of that conversation, join us next week at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, Rotarians. We have before we go into our Paul Harris pants today, we have a couple announcements. I was looking at my individual points for my next Paul Harris Fellow, and I said, okay, so where is everybody at? So I drew a line of 300 on down, and I came up with 25. What's significant about 25? Well, I'm a 60s baby, so I grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, listening to Casey Kasem's top 25 hits and all that great stuff. So I have a list of 25 Rotarians, meaning you are 300 points or less away from your next Paul Harris. Some only needs $55, some only needs $70, but I will be sending out an individual email to all 25 of you, and this is the push, big push for every Rotarian every year, and also to make our foundation go. So we're gonna do that from tomorrow, March 1st, all the way to April 30th. Then starting May 1st through June 30th, we're gonna take that wide range of 500. Everybody who's halfway over the mountain coming down the other side, we will also make that push. For every one of these 25 Rotarians who get their Paul Harris Fellow, I'm going to donate $25 towards mine. So when 25 give and I give, I will also be one who will go ahead and make that next leap on up. So I'm a sports person, so I make it competitive. So make me spend my money. I told my wife, I'm gonna tell them they're gonna make me spend my money. She said, what if 100 of them do it? I said, well, that'll be less birthday gifts for you in August, honey. But we want to make sure that we give, and I will speak with our two newest Rotarians today because we want to get everyone in the habit of giving. And with that, I'm not sure, Eric, if Kerry Crable is online with us today, but Mr. Gerard, come on up, Bob Gerard. But we do have 3 that we want to recognize, and I'll give all of these to Bob, and he will make sure that they get them. We have Bob Gerard with a Paul Harris +5. And Connie, oh, I didn't see her come in. Okay, Connie has come in. We have Connie, so give her Paul Harris +5. So come on up, Connie. And wasn't sure if Terry Craven was able to join us online. She is a Paul Harris +3, and I will give this to Bob. So again, those of you who are 300 or less points away from your next Paul Harris Fellow recognition, you'll be getting an email from me, and then we will reboot this come May 1st to June 30th so that we can make sure that every Rotarian has given, and that we also make our foundation goal, which Eric is going to remember off the top of his head to tell everyone what that foundation goal is for this year. Did you forget? Yes. Oh, okay. Doug, do you know what we put in? I remember. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of you. We'll let you know next Monday what our foundation goal is for this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Thanks, Julie, and thanks for all of those giving to the foundation. It is for those newer to the club, it's super complicated. I'm not gonna lie. I think the way it's done and with points, it's cool. It's all cool, but it's challenging. So I think what I'll do is try to share up some general information a little bit over time, because I'll be honest, it was a couple years before I really understood fully. And even though we've got great Doug Risser, Howard Edwards, they've been our chairs for the foundation, and Doug, I know you're super knowledgeable about this stuff. We need to try to simplify it. But to simplify it, you go online, Rotary.org, you can give, you can set it up. I have mine set to deduct every month, once a month, a set amount out of my checking account. It's super easy, and that's a really easy way to do it. And it can be a small amount, it can be a big amount. It really is all up to you. I like that because it's sort of out of mind, out of sight. I don't really think about it, and it just comes out. I don't feel it too much. It's not too painful, but also it's a nice way to give because of all the great things that Rotary International does. And the foundation has all sorts of different areas. And I noticed a lot of folks in this room just give to the general fund. There are specific areas. I think I've got mine actually geared more toward, I think there's an environmental cause. So you can actually choose what you want it to go to. Okay, excellent. Thank you again, Howard. Let's see. All right, speaking of raising some money, we've got a remote sergeant today. And I know that Andy McCaskey is going to help us with this. We're going to do some pointing here on the video. And we are going to bring up Mr. Judge Mike Cristofino. And we're going to have some folks that he calls up to the front to approach the bench, I guess, as you'd say. And you're going to stand on your mark, which is actually right here on the ground in front of me. And I'm going to point this camera around. You can look at Mike if you want. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz sort of deal right here. I like this. And we'll have the camera. Mike should be able to hear you because there's a microphone in the camera. Let's see how this works. And Mike, I'll have to put this microphone down to you here in the speaker so everybody can hear. But this is a grand experiment. Go ahead, Mike.
Good afternoon, everyone. I trust you can all hear the judge. Let's start out with Bill Reith. I think he was up there already. Come on back up, Bill.
Stand on the tape mark right there.
All right.
And you can face the screen.
So Bill, this is a two-part question. The way we're going to do this is if Bill gets it right, nobody gets fined. We're all in this together. Bill, if you get it wrong, guess what? Everybody's fined.
All right.
Today's President's Day, Bill. What is President's Day best known for?
Remembering George Washington and other significant presidents' birthdays.
Oh, how wrong you are, Bill. It's best known for sales events. Mattresses, electronics, furniture, cars, anything you want to buy. Today is the day to buy it because it's President's Day. Bill, what's wrong with President's Day?
Many of our elected officials are wrong on President's Day.
Yes, that's very correct. Right here I am working. I don't have the day off. That's wrong. I should get President's Day off like many of the federal officials do. So that's $1 for everybody. Thank you, Bill. How about Judge Rickoff? Is he there yet?
He is. He's coming up.
And after Judge Rickoff, let's have Bob Gerard come up also. Good to see you, Jim, as always.
Thank you.
So these are some easy questions for you. Which president first signed into law a recognition of President's Day?
Dwight Eisenhower.
No. What year do you think this occurred? I'll give you a hint. It's not in the 40s, not 1940s.
1933.
1879, President Rutherford B. Hayes signed this into law, but only for the District of Columbia.
Do I get credit for
$1? Everybody pays $1. Now, when did it become a holiday for the rest of the country?
$1947.
1885. And that was in recognition, as Bill Reith already correctly pointed out, George Washington's birthday. Thank you, Jim.
Pleasure.
That was close.
Everybody pays another $1. There we go, Bob. Let's have Doug Risser come up after Bob. Okay, Bob. So when did this become known as President's Day?
$1975.
Oh, you're very close, but wrong. 1971. Do you know what act made it a national holiday?
President's Day Act.
The Uniform Monday Holiday Act, which, as you well know, because your lovely life likes to shop, that was so that we had more 3-day weekends for workers to be off work and spending their dollars to increase retail. Do you know when Washington's birthday is? What day?
February 17th.
Wrong, it's the 22nd. Everybody pays another $1. Do you know when Lincoln's birthday is?
February 17th.
February 12th. Everybody else pays another $1. Actually, the act tried to combine these into two presidents, celebrating Lincoln and Washington. That never really caught on. It was only much later that we all look at it as Bill does, Bill Reith did, as President's Day, honoring a number of presidents. Thank you, Bob. Is Doug Risser up?
Hello, Judge.
Good to see you, Doug. And let's have Candy Yoder come up after Doug. Okay, so Doug, this is a really easy one. Which president is the most inappropriate?
The most inappropriate?
Correct.
Probably Warren Harding.
No, it's our own Eric Garden. Everybody pays $1.
I'll pay $1 for that. I'll pay
I'm going to
$1.
give you 4 examples to show you this just in the month of February. So on February 7, President Garten was displaying a number of his body parts very inappropriately to all of us who were on the Zoom meeting. And what was most appalling is none of our fellow Rotarians there stopped him from doing so. That's $1 for everybody. On February 14, he moved the camera so fast that we thought we were on the Himalaya ride at the fair, made most of us sick, and we lost our lunch. At that same meeting, he was referring to all of the tape at Gasca Tape when he used the phrase, there is a HE double hockey stick of a lot of tape out there. And finally, and most inappropriately, he had Bill Burton dress up as Cupid. I can only describe as my recollection of banker Milburn Drysdale on the Beverly Hillbillies dressing as Super Banker. That's $1 for everybody. Thank you, Doug. Candy, are you there?
Yes, I am, sir.
Oh, and let's look out there. Jeff Church comes up after Candy. Candy, who was our first Republican president?
Lincoln.
Correct, Candy. Nobody has to pay. Now, behind me, you're going to see a painting. Do you recognize Lincoln in the painting?
I can't see the painting anymore. So,
There you go.
yes, in the center.
When was this particular painting painted?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
When was it painted?
Anybody know?
It's a trick question. It's a print.
Oh, trick question, it's a print.
It's not a print. For that answer, everybody pays $2.
That again shows the problem with our current president.
Do you know who the painter is?
I do not know who the painter is.
It was John Dilley. Do you know how much he was paid to do this painting?
Let's say $2,000.
$30.
Oh. Does
What's
it matter,
unusual-
sir, that we're all maxed out?
What's unusual about the painting? Well, I'm a judge, Candy. I don't recognize maximum anything.
I thought so.
What's unusual about Lincoln in this painting?
His age, painted when he was younger.
No beard.
No beard. Good answer.
Do you know what this was painted for?
I have no idea, sir.
It was a rally, a Republican rally that was done in Goshen in 1860 when Lincoln was running for president. Do you know who the other 2 gentlemen are in the painting with Lincoln?
No, please tell us.
Hannibal Hamlin for vice president and gubernatorial candidate Henry Lane. At that particular time, Goshen had about 2,000 residents, and there were about 20,000 people that attended this rally. Everybody put in $1 for all that information that Candy did not give you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Jeff, are you there?
Jeff, you want to come up? Yep.
Jeff, what year was this painting framed and given to the circuit court judge?
Could you repeat that?
What year was this painting framed and given to the circuit court judge?
1988.
1917. Were you or any of your relatives one of those lawyers?
Well, it wasn't me.
Do you know the judge that it was given to?
Could have been Ira.
Judge Drake. Now, it was in the circuit court before being a gift to the judge, but the history on that's a little confusing. It seems to have arrived here about 1902. It was restored, as far as I can tell, 2 times in history. Do you know what years that was?
1903. And 2021.
No, the history that I'm looking at shows 1961. Judge Aldo Simpson had Betty Lou Torres. That would be, her husband was Henry Torres. Restored it in 1961, and then it was restored again by Monica Radecki in 2010. Last question. Do you know the insurance value of the painting the last time the county had it valued?
$175.
1.2 million. And somebody that knows a little bit about art tells me that now it will be somewhere north of 1.7 million. If you didn't max out yet, and you should all be well over $5, put in another $1 for Jeff. Thank you all for participating in the Elkhart Circuit Court Zoom Rotary Sergeant experiment.
Hey, thanks a lot, Mike. That was great. All right, everybody give Mike a round of applause here while I fiddle with the camera more. Okay, Mike, thank you. That was great. That actually, I think that worked pretty well, except other than the manual moving the microphone down here. All right. Thanks for contributing. That's all going to go toward the donations committee, and we're going to make sure we've got plenty of money to give away. Okay, to introduce today's speaker, I'd like to have Rob Leroy come up. And I am going to share screen. Already sharing screen. We're going to do this and that. And Rich knows what to do from there.
Okay, well, I'm not going to read the bio that Rich sent us because Eric sent it to all of you Friday. So thanks a lot, Eric. Now I have to make things up. Rich and I met in prison about 7 years ago. He was in on, he had actually stolen wheels off of a car and was using them to roll down the hill with. I was just there visiting because I'm perfect. Now, Rich is with us from ULEAD today. I don't know if he's spoken to this group before, but ULEAD is a pretty interesting organization. Rich has been there for several years now as their leader, and has a lot of stories about his grandchildren, so we may hear some of them today. So thank you, Rich.
Robert Fulgham, and everything I needed to know I learned in kindergarten. It tells a story of when he had to corral about 77 to 10-year-olds at a church gathering when the parents were doing some kind of a meeting. And so he decided he would try a game of giants, wizards, and dwarfs, where basically it's like a big game of rock, paper, scissors, split them into 2 teams, and they have to come to a moment of decision. So the children were like whispering, they were all excited. They were trying to get their teams together. And he was ready to call out because they have to give motions. And then if it's a giant, wizard, or dwarf, one team has to run and everything. It creates this chaos. And just as he was ready to shout out, okay, it's time to be a giant, wizard, or dwarf, he gets a tug on his leg. And a little voice calls out, where do the mermaids stand? And he said there was a pause. And then there was a longer pause. And he had to think. And he said to her, there aren't any mermaids. That was a mistake. She said, yes, they are, because I am one. So in the middle of all this game, he had to think, where do the mermaids stand? Where do the children stand who don't fit the mold, who don't fit the stereotype, who don't connect in the way that maybe all other people are connecting? And he said, if you can figure out that question, You can build a community on it. You can build a nation on it. You can definitely build schools on that. You can build all kinds of things when you can find ways to make connections. And then he said, he had a moment of wisdom after he realized that he was wrong to not say there aren't mermaids. He said, the mermaid stands right here by the king of the sea. And he took her hand and he said, you know, I didn't believe in mermaids, but now I do because I held her hand one day, right? So I tell that story as just kind of a foreground to talking just a few minutes with you about ULEAD as an organization. So Rob, it's been more than a few years. I'm like an old grandpa now. I do have 4 grandchildren, 3, 5, 7, and 10. And so I know there are mermaids out there because I know I have a couple of those, right? But as an organization, we are a leadership training organization. We're grounded in the life and teachings of Jesus, and we're really here to provide inclusive, dynamic leadership training that is filled with play and laughter and celebration. And we invite individuals to discover their why, grow their skills, and use those skills to inspire others. I love what was said about that parable at the beginning, because change does start with each of us as individuals. And so we are about this kind of discovery, and I'm going to invite you into a quick moment of discovery. On each of your tables, there is a card that has a bunch of images. It has a full color image, but I want you to look at the icon in the middle of the card. We're going to have like a little moment of discovery here today. And so there is also a ULEAD pen, an amazing pen. There's a maze in the pen, I know. It's President's Day. I had to like pull out something special today. So I'm going to give you 90 seconds. Have one person take the pen and the note card and record as many ideas as you can based on the icon in the middle of the card of uses for this thing other than its original purpose. So you're going to collaborate together. This is competitive. So you're going to try to come up with as many things in 90 seconds for the use of that icon other than its original purpose. Right? Somebody write it down. Go. Try it out.
You hold up the card again, please, so that people online can see the card. All right, yes, that's good, good, thank you. Also, you'll need to restart the share again, Eric.
Restart the share.
Yeah, once we're done with this exercise, I just want everybody online to see the card.
Gotcha. Ten seconds. Now, what do I do? What do I have to do to start the share? All right, our time is up. Anybody have more than 1,000? More than 20? Let me ask you this. So that's just an example of, so when we talk about these dynamic leadership experiences filled with laughter, play, and celebration, we're inviting students and educators and youth workers into experiences and teams into experiences where they get to practice doing the things that we're talking about. So it's not just a language kind of thing, it's actually to practice that. So I'm trying to advance now to the next slide. And I had to restart the share here.
Maybe escape from it.
Oh,
Let's try it.
escape from it.
Or we'll stop the share because it's something's not right entirely.
Okay.
Let's try again.
Does anybody think you came up maybe with more ideas than if you sat down by yourself come up with the divergent ideas, right? So, so part of what we're hoping to do is to kind of get that going, get it front loaded so that we can actually experience what it is to join together, get the human spirit together. Okay, sorry, Rich. That's all right. We'll get it. So, hey, your president is a troubleshooter. I think you got to give him a little bit of, you know, an accolade.
No, they don't.
They don't. Okay, let's try that. All right. So our vision is to create a movement. And so we see youth and youth workers and educators as people that are really a part of this whole starting a change in our world. And so our whole framework is servant leadership. It comes with some belief statements that we have. We believe that the greatest change agents are people that bring their skills and abilities, understand their why and their purpose, and then use that to inspire others to goodness. And a couple more things I would say about some of our beliefs. We believe that our educators and youth workers possess the passion and capability to unlock the human potential. And we believe that youth are capable and gifted and called to live a life of purpose that makes a difference in their communities. And a lot of times, part of it is us doing equipping and then setting them loose to let their skills come out. I see it in my grandchildren. I want a world for them to be open to their gifts. And U-Lead is about trying to expand and have hope in that possibility. COVID has been like a blanket of whatever. It has been so hard. And when we work with schools and with students, we see what our big thing is like disconnection and just kind of an attitude of just this, it's kind of hanging over, like, right? It's like maybe the variants are starting to slow down, but there's like this trauma that's still hanging over. So educators are leaving the field earlier. Many of them are talking about burnout. We work with clubs like Boys and Girls Clubs and Ys and in and out of school time organizations. And then we also have the privilege of working with schools. There's a lot of behavior issues. There's a lot of things going on with young people. Many of you in this room who work with nonprofits understand the grief and the kind of things that are happening out there. Here's just a couple things to highlight some of our program focus. So we have the leadership training events. We do virtual, which we hate, but we have to because we've had to adapt with COVID. Anywhere from 1 hour, 45-minute sessions that are semester long, all the way through like larger team retreats and adventure camps and things like that. It's about team building, it's about development, and again, it's through play and experiential learning. So this is kind of a goal that we're looking at in terms of, we've been active across the state. We're a partner with the Indiana Board of Education. We're delivering programs across the state of Indiana with the Indiana After School Network. And then there's 105 Boys and Girls Clubs across the state. We work with the Indiana Alliance, that is the parent organization over all those clubs. And we're really hoping to be in some way, be an encouragement, be an organization that comes alongside educators and youth serving organizations all across Elkhart County. We would love to, these cards that I showed you, these are things that are tools that people are using across the US and Canada. Here's a couple local organizations that we are working with, are working to tee up programs with. We have so much respect for all the nonprofits who are already pouring a lot of goodness into youth and families. We're just one piece that comes alongside to bring play and celebration and engagement into that. And so we're active right now, working at some programs. This is one program that we're excited about. It's we call it the Indy 501. It's better than the Indy 500. And teams actually get together and build little cars, and they get complete with a race suit with the milk bottle and everything. And they're learning servant leadership principles at pit stops. They race around a track. Our kits have been broken every time we've taken it out because people get really serious about this. So they're learning servant leadership, but they're building these kits and having to work together and collaborate. And then they're learning about leadership in the process. And so these are, the adults usually break the kits actually. So we're starting these with young people and with adults. Here's just a little bit, a few members of our team. We're expanding and growing. we're finding our capacity is not enough to take on the statewide contracts and then our growing programs here in Elkhart County. So we have the top row there are our facilitators, the bottom are our office and brand ambassador. We're looking right now to hire a youth facilitator. If any of you have anyone in mind, please send them our way. We're looking to grow our team. So here's some things we'd love to, and I noticed like you have like a grant application on your website, I guess. I hear about that. So our programs really are like partnerships with organizations. So last year we started an adventure camp with the City of Elkhart Parks Department to get kids out to paddle and to do some climbing and to be out in nature and to learn about personal development in that process. They did some biking on the Pumpkin Vine Trail. This summer, we're looking to expand that program to have like one week probably for boys and girls clubs and the other one that's kind of open enrollment. We're excited about that because the outdoors and being in nature is a chance to do those experiential things. And there's a lot of learning lessons that can happen. So if you could spread the word of mouth, sometimes people are like, you know, why lead? You lead, what is this? ULEAD, You Lead Inc. And so our brand ambassador has really done a lot to work on our socials, on our Facebook. We're doing some Facebook live interviews. She's done a lot with our Instagram account. You can find us at You Lead Inc. And just spread the word. We are, so Doug Rister has to put up with us in his suites. Our office is right in downtown Goshen. So thanks for having me be with you. I'm open for any questions you would have today. So that's You Lead. That is us. Yeah.
How many youth in Elkhart County does You Lead impact in a year?
So we have, it's been like statewide, it's like over 2,000. In Elkhart County, we are, right now we're in like the Elkhart schools. And then we're also in, so that would be like in the middle schools. And those groups of students are probably, you know, more like 15 to 25 students in those groups. The summer adventure camps are small at this point. They're like under 20. And then we do a lot with the staff teams as well. So we've been with like Boys and Girls Club of Elkhart County. We've been at the Goshen Club with the Elkhart Club doing retreats and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have exact numbers for Elkhart County, but we're definitely getting more active here in Elkhart County with a number of students. Yeah.
Hey, Rich, do you do stuff with businesses or organizations that are not youth oriented?
So probably about 4 or 5 years ago, we really focused into youth and youth serving organizations as our focus because we saw the need. And in terms of like our staff, that's my timer. I think my time is about up here. So, so we've really dialed into that. We can. I did leave a couple little things. If you want to connect with us, give us your email there. We can do some stuff like on the side, or I'm personally doing some things like with businesses, but we have really dialed into the youth and the youth serving as our client base, just because the need is there.
How's the program funded?
Yeah, so the program, we have a sliding fee scale, and a lot of our clients are using grant funds to pay for programs. Like through the Board of Education, they actually, they called us to be a provider, and they actually pay for the programs for schools to have these programs. So we have a recharge, retool, reconnect, or reflect retreat that is happening. Actually, the Elkhart Schools is one of the schools that has been a part of that program. So it's fully funded through the Department of Education. And then we have our own basis of funding as well as an organization. We have a small endowment with the Elkhart Foundation. So we have a base of support. And then beyond that, we have a fee for service that we charge to organizations and work with them also to help get grants to pay for the funding. So.
Thanks a lot, Rich.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
you very much, Rich, for being here today, sharing a little about you, Lead. Sorry we cut into your time. We'll blame Judge Cristofino for that, but that's all right. And I'm sure Rich will stay around, hang around a few minutes if anyone has questions. I know that I participated in a lot of professional development things through either the Community Foundation or otherwise throughout the county, and it's always great to have you involved, and I love it. You guys like to have fun. You break down those barriers and communication and try to get to people communicating, and communication, as we all know, is pretty important. One of the things that we always like to share with our speakers, and you know, the Elkhart Rotary Club actually founded Wellfield Botanic Gardens back in 2005. I've got a couple of passes here for you to enjoy this spring if you'd like, or even in the winter. We're open on the weekends, so, and I'd be happy also to give you a tour around if you wanted. My card's in there, set it up. Thanks everyone for your participation. Thanks for participating in our first virtual remote sergeanting. That was actually pretty cool. Judge did a great job. Thanks everyone for finding your mark right up here in front. I was actually very impressed with that. And for everyone online, there is actually a piece of tape that I crisscrossed on the floor, and everyone did a pretty good job standing there, except Jeff Church, but that's okay. We'll get there. He adjusted, self-adjusted of his own. Thanks everyone for all you do in the community. Have a great rest of the week. Go out and make the community a better place. Rotary's adjourned.